Hello, Abnormal Investigations. I've got another encounter for you. This one's a Sasquatch. I know we don't get many of these, and I must admit these are probably my favorite. Probably because that's what I heard mostly growing up. You know, I think a lot of times we hear a lot of the Sasquatch stories around here because, well, that's mostly what people believe. And around here they believe that they might be the same thing. And maybe that's why I heard more Sasquatch stories here than anywhere else. My longtime girlfriend of the time was a First Nations, having been raised on the far west coast of Vancouver Island here in British Columbia. We had decided to take a small vacation and spent a relaxing weekend in the small coastal town of Tofino found in the far west coast of the island. I've got many stories about working and living in the strange encounters that I experienced there, helping to fuel my nature and my natural curiosity towards areas. But this one has always stuck with me, Mike. At the end of this vacation we were headed back to our home on the eastern side while driving through Cathedral Grove, one of the old-growth forests left on the island. My girlfriend suggested we stop into a major town of Port Auberny. While passing through, she wanted to stop and see her uncle's family who she hasn't seen in years, since they'd moved from the coastal village inland. I agreed, and after another hour worth of driving in the darkness, my eyes were beginning to get tired. As we were driving, I felt the front end of my car start to shimmer. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to have to buy a new tire. The front end, is going out. So, Mike, I continue to drive, and the next thing I know, the car starts to pull to the right. Now it's dark, and it is secluded out here. So I pulled over to the side of the road, and as I got out, I noticed that the tire was actually flat. So I start gathering the stuff out of the trunk, and of course I'm looking around, watching the ditches and everything because it's scary out here and it's in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, while I'm doing it, she stays inside of the vehicle. I can hear she turns on her phone. I believe she's watching YouTube or something, and I finally get the tire off and everything, and I lay the tire at the back of the car. I grab the spare out of the trunk, and I always carry a full-size spare. I don't carry a donut because I always figure if I have a spare of the same size, that I can drive as far as I need to get out of a situation and not have to watch my speed. So I got the tire changed, and while I'm standing there, I start hearing grunting in the woods. Just as I'm putting the lug bolts on the last tire, before I tighten them, I hear something start to snort, and then the large limb breaks outside. I look over, and I see something walking in the woods. It's watching me. It's moving slowly, and it's watching me. So I act like I don't see it, and I hurry up and I tighten the lug bolts as tight as I can get them and as fast as I can get them. The whole time, I can hear this thing walking and sniffing the air so strong. I mean, it sounded so weird to listen to this thing just sniff the air the way it was sniffing the air. I was scared. So I hurried up, and as I'm getting it all done, I could swore I saw something move at the back of the car, like it ducked down. I had the hood up, though, or the trunk. Whatever it was taller than the trunk. I was afraid to walk back there, so I grabbed the old tire that was at the back, didn't even really look for anything. It was a dark, deep ditch. It went way down into the wood line, threw the tire into the back, and whenever I did, Mike, I swear I looked up and I saw something I wish I would have never seen. He was standing there, tall, had to be 8-9 foot tall. This thing was huge. And it makes a weird noise at me. Not like a whistle, not like a grunt, but kind of like a bat. He sounded like a bat screeching or an owl. And he reached his hand out toward me. I ran, jumped into the car, started the car, and as I was leaving, he started pounding on the side of our car. My girlfriend at this time is crying hysterically and screaming. It's beating on the side of the car. I'm doing now 45, 50, and at 50 miles an hour, the last beatings on the car is on the back of the trunk, which actually pushed the back of the car down. It scared the hell out of us. I almost lost control. The whole front of the car lifted whenever he done this. I couldn't believe the power that it had. When we got into town, I went and spoke to the sheriff and showed him the damage that had been done to the car. He said it was probably a wild hog that ran out of there, and I told him I was doing 50 miles an hour before it ever hit. And he said, oh, you'd be surprised how fast they are. And I said, oh, and they can jump and hit the back of the trunk also. He told me he could call the Rangers if I wanted him to, kind of in a smirk. I knew better than to push it, Mike. I listened to your channel and I knew where this was going to go. You should see the dents on my car. If its hands were as big as the dents, Mike, they were like the size of a basketball that had slammed into the side and back on my trunk. I could not believe how big these were, and the force that was hitting my car was almost like it would knock the car into a skid. The power this thing had was so scary. I wanted to share this with you to let you know that if you ever break down on the side of the road, pay attention to the ditch, and always know there are things out there that are watching us. I don't know if I done the right thing. Maybe I should have drove on the flat or whatever, but in hindsight, I look back and I did have the tire off already. I really didn't have a choice. Thank God I got the tire on before it decided to come up to the car, or who knows what would have happened. I want to apologize for the sound you heard, guys. That was Kaylee getting ice, and she's now whistling for her dog. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I try to do it without interruptions, but sometimes they make noises. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you on the next one.